Coming up tonight on Fifth Third Business Beat, car dealers hope to see a rebound in sales by the fall. An agency's business model for helping young people generates results and income. A nonprofit technology initiative finds the funds to help startups. John Newberry reports on how a decline in betting is hurting Kentucky's thoroughbred industry. Smaller portions at smaller prices prove popular with customers at a local restaurant chain. Dr. Nora Zorich talks to Crystal Faulkner about the women being honored at this year's YWCA Career Women of Achievement Luncheon. An expert on the Flying Pig Marathon explains what the race can do for the city. Fifth Third's chief investment strategist John Augustine looks at the weekly economic forecast. And Doug McNeil, president and CEO of Atrium Medical Center, joins Doug Bolton for Publishers Beat.
Fifth Third Business Beat is brought to you in part by Fifth Third Bank and Cincinnati Bell.
Hello, I'm Brian Patrick. Welcome to Fifth Third Business Beat for this Friday, April 17th, 2009. On the front page of this week's Business Courier, the average car on the road is more than 9 years old. That gives dealers reason to expect a rebound in auto sales soon. Before that can happen, though, Chrysler and General Motors need to sort out the financial problems that have nearly crippled them. But car sales for the month of March were up 24% over February, although they remained lower than in March of last year.
General Motors and Chrysler, once they put their issues behind them and have resolved, then I think we can move forward. The financial sector looks like it's turning around and headed in the right direction. And once you have those two sectors come together, I think you'll find the consumer confidence will go up.
Dealers hope sales will follow. One bright spot for some dealerships is that there's been an increase in calls to their service departments. With people holding on to their cars longer, they're taking better care of them and having them serviced more often. A local agency founded as a runaway shelter is now seen as an innovator in child welfare services. Lighthouse Youth Services provides home and school-based services to at-risk kids. The program is helping students who are at risk for failing in school.
It brought my grades up. At first, I wasn't going to graduate with the class of 2009.
The agency also helps young people who have been through the foster care system get set up on their own when they turn 18. The goal is to teach them as much as they can as quickly as possible. The program is getting results and attention.
Many people have started to ask Lighthouse for technical assistance, and we've created a little revenue stream through creating a training institute to help other counties and states and private agencies learn about the Lighthouse independent living model.
The various home and school-based service programs generate more than $1 million a year. Lighthouse has an annual budget of about $20 million. While there is capital out there for promising entrepreneurs and companies in the area, it may just be harder to find. Cincy Tech USA is a nonprofit technology initiative with a $10 million for-profit seed stage investment fund. It funds companies' technology and biosciences in formation, including IT or medical devices. Cincy Tech President Bob Coy says seed stage funding doubled from 2007 to 2008, from $2.9 million to $5.9 million.
We've been investing since May of 2007. We've looked at 300 investment opportunities. We've made 9 investments, and almost $28 million has been invested in those 9 companies.
Coy says some of Cincy Tech's funding has come from the state of Ohio's Third Frontier Initiative, which supports seed funds across the state. In this week's Business Courier, John Newberry has a story on the decline on betting at Turfway Park and other racetracks and what it means to Kentucky's horse industry. How far down is wagering at Turfway?
Well, for the 3-month meet that just ended in March, betting on races at Turfway was down 11%. On-track betting. Betting on Turfway races all over, including simulcast wagering at other sites, was down like 25%. So it's down big.
So is the industry blaming the economy, or is it the fact that there are these so-called racinos in neighboring states?
Well, the economy obviously has an impact, but I think the industry thinks most of the impact is from the racinos, these other horse tracks where slot machine revenue is basically subsidizing the horse betting.
Yeah, there's a brand new facility right on I-74 going toward Indianapolis. I think they call it Indiana Live.
That just opened up within the past year. They have a big slot machine casino there, and the proceeds from that are used to subsidize purses for the races. So the problem is a lot of the horses are now going to Indiana or to Pennsylvania, which also has the same basic setup, and they're not going to Kentucky tracks. So there's fewer horses racing in Kentucky, and that just leads to fewer people betting on the races.
So is there a consensus in the horse racing industry in Kentucky that if you put casinos and slot machines into the racetracks there, such as Turfway, that will help?
Oh yeah, I think there's definitely consensus that it'll help. I'm not sure they think that's the complete solution to it, but that would definitely help because it would draw more people to Kentucky tracks.
Horse racing is a huge industry in Kentucky. How is this situation affecting that industry as a whole?
Well, the thing is, you know, the horse tracks are kind of the base on which the whole industry is based. And when racing revenues go down, it slowly affects, you know, the breeders and everybody else involved.
So what is the industry doing to survive in this climate?
Well, they're trying to get slots at Kentucky racetracks, and they're hoping to get something through a special session of the Kentucky legislature this year, if there is a special session, and maybe get some slot machines at Kentucky racetracks.
Big issue for Kentucky horse racing. All right, thank you, John. Read John Newberry's story in this week's Business Courier. Here's the Courier Greater Cincinnati Stock Index. We track the performance of about 40 local stocks compared with the broader market using the Dow Jones Wilshire 5000 Index. The market remained on a roll last week as the local index gained about 4%. The overall market rose around 3%. Well, for a restaurant chain to stay as popular now as it was when it first opened 50 years ago, you have to give people what they want. Patricia McGeever tells us that when customers said they wanted less of a good thing, the folks at La Rosa's listened.
For more than 50 years, visitors to La Rosa's pizzerias have filled up on Italian food made from family recipes. The menu has changed over the years. Some things have been added, some removed, and now some are being downsized. The Just Right combo is a smaller portion of 7 items already on the menu.
I like it. I think it's a really good idea, and although they're smaller portions, they're very satisfying.
The Just Right combo was permanently added to the menu last spring after several months of testing it on customers. Now, the items are available for carryout.
As you age, you realize that you can gain weight from eating very large meals. So when this came along, it was a no-brainer.
The La Rosas say the change was customer-driven.
Italian food and our family recipes, it's abundant food. Italian food is an abbondanza of portions, and that's a good and bad thing. Italian food's a value, and it's plentiful, and sometimes you have a little bit you can take home for lunch the next day, and we like that. Italians like that, but folks would tell us the portion's just a little bit too much. I can't do that.
So when La Rosa's decided to make smaller portions available, the response was overwhelming.
Off the charts. Almost overnight when we put it on the menu, we had 20, 30, 40, 50% increase in activity from restaurant to restaurant. The customer demand for it was even greater than what we had forecasted.
The idea for smaller portions was floated to customers dining at the White Oak store. There's a test kitchen there where new products are introduced.
We might start at 11 in the morning and get some input from some customers early on, and we'll go back post-lunch, make some tweaks to that recipe, and come back again and present it to other customers. So it's just it's like a working lab, and it's a perfect environment for it.
Portion, price, and packaging all had to be considered before offering these meals to go. A lot of time was spent getting just the right packaging to help the Just Right combo travel well.
La Rosa's is currently working on a few more new menu items. It's currently testing a whole grain pizza dough for pizza crusts, and it hopes to debut a new ciabatta bread this summer.